barefooted since he was a sophomore in high school, and he's kicked the longest field goals in Texas ever since. High school, collegiate at A&M, Tony Franklin, and now a 59-yarder in the pros, second only to Tom Dempsey's all-time 63-yarder here in New Orleans. That was outdoors at the Sugar Bowl. Set to go with Ira Matthews and Arthur Whittington deep for the Oakland Raiders. It's to Matthews at the 3. And he ducks into the 23-yard line. It'll be first down for the Oakland Raiders. Credit the tackle to Louis Jamona. He's the nephew of Coach Dick Vermeil.
Having been around Coach Vermeil, Dick, I can tell you that part of his halftime speech said this: in effect, we'll set the tempo for the second half in the first offensive and defensive series. Let's go out and get it started properly. Let's see if his defense responds to that challenge.
Check the Oakland Raider offense for you as they break huddle. Plunkett the quarterback, King and Van Eegen the running backs, Branch and Chandler the wide receivers to the right, Raymond Chester on the left. King. Frank LeMaster wraps him up for a loss at the 21-yard line.
I believe we have a holding call, Dick.
Thrown by Henry Lawrence, the right tackle of the Raiders. And with a loss on the play, the Eagles will be tempted to decline the penalty and spin the down box.
Well, it's only about a 3-yard loss. They may elect to take the 10. Put the Raiders with their backs against the wall at the start of this series.
And apparently they will take the 10-yard penalty. And Greith to the 12-yard line. And now the culprit.
Offensive holding number 70.
Lawrence, who had his problem stopping Cedric Hardman in the first game when Hardman had 4 sacks of 8 sacks recorded by the Eagles. But today it's been different. Plunkett has been protected like fine crystal.
One of the keys to the big win in San Diego by Oakland was Plunkett's ability to get out of a couple of long yardage situations. In fact, a key 3rd and 20 situation, which he scrambled through a pass to Branch.
And it's been Branch's target today. Branch with 4 receptions to lead all receivers in this game. That's first down and 20. First and 20. The twos, John Matuzak. He's going to be starring in a movie released later this spring called Caveman. Go get him, twos. Van Eegen takes a crack at the 22-yard line as he gets back about 8 yards. It'll be second and 12. Bill Berge from Arkansas State, the veteran of 12 years in the league, made the tackle for Philadelphia.
You hear those pads pop clear up here. One thing that the opponents of these Philadelphia Eagles will tell you that throughout this season, after you played the Eagles, you spent a lot of time in the hot tub and the whirlpool.
Reminder, a year ago, the Steelers were behind the Rams at halftime and rallied to win. One of 3 teams to come from behind of the previous 14 games. Second and 12. King. Carrying the ball dangerously, but holding on to a first down at the 35-yard line. Carl Hairston hustling from behind to make the tackle after a 13-yard play.
One of the lessons I'm sure that Al Davis learned from Sid Gilman in San Diego was that when you can put the cast of characters together that make you defense the entire field, you can give them problems. Hairston, 78, chasing all the way from behind to get a piece of that tackle. Unfortunately, not until the first down had been gained.
Yeah, Merlin, you pointed it out again. Plunkett has pulled him back from first and 20. Looking long for Chandler. First down at the 33 of the Eagles.
Little play action immobilizes the defensive line of the Eagles. Chandler running a precision pattern. That's a pretty pass. Plunkett does not have the power he once had in his arm, but has the ability to throw the ball accurately. And look how he rainbows this ball over the defenders into the waiting hands of number 85, Chandler.
Roynell Young, the rookie cornerback, made the tackle. 32 yards in the play. First catch by Chandler. Van Egan to the 29. Dennis Harrison, Vanderbilt, made the tackle. Let's go back to the long pass play. That should look very interesting from upstairs.
Look how much room he has, how much time he has. Chance to look straight down at the pattern. That's an amazing shot.
You can't throw that any better if you cleared the entire defense off the field.
That's the kind of diagram the coaches will put on the blackboard for you, and it worked just like the Oakland Raiders diagrammed it.
How true that sign. A lot of prophecy hanging here in the Superdome. Both wide receivers to the left this time with Branch in the slot. Play action. Going for 6 to Branch. Touchdown! He stole it away from Roynell Young. In front of 75,000 fans, Branch has just made a theft worth 6 points.
Cliff Branch played this one like a defensive back. He did not have possession. Roynell Young had possession, but Branch, with his experience, waited and waited, stepped in front of Roynell Young, took the ball at its highest point, and that's exactly what you teach a defensive back to do.
Cliff Branch's second touchdown ties the Super Bowl record. Look at it. What great timing. Shielded Young with his body, and the Raiders with another big score. Carr to try the extra point. And the Oakland Raiders lead 21-3, and that's also ties most touchdowns in a game, Cliff Branch. Tom Flores Raiders in front of Dick Vermeil's Eagles, 21-3. Short kick by Barr that's headed for out of bounds and goes out of bounds. Was it touched by Bunting? He touched the ball, and so now Philadelphia, with another mistake, will have to start from the 10-yard line. Well, the quarterback protection, that was one of the themes going into this game. Protect your quarterback, win the game. John Brody has that story.
Dick, if this flow doesn't change, and as Ron Jaworski had 2 seconds and less to throw in the first half, there's no secrets as to why a quarterback is or is not effective. It took him 2 seconds to get the ball off. None of his receivers were open. They're getting pressure up the middle, and he's had absolutely no operating room. On the other side of the coin, the second half starts right where it left off. Jim Plunkett's got 3.5, 3.8, 4 points. 1 or 2 seconds is all the difference in the world, and there's nobody close to him at this point. He's been able to use crossing patterns, anything he wants. His offensive line is doing a great job.
So Jaworski looking for better protection and hoping to develop that by making the Raiders play run, but Oakland has also been tough stopping the run. Merlin Olsen, you have that statistic.
Certainly have, and it's been tough on first down for the Eagles. They have not been able to do well, and that's crucial because that means when you're only averaging 2.6 per first down, that the Raiders are able to insert extra defensive backs and insert that fourth rush lineman, and they have made life miserable for Ron Jaworski.
Second down, 7. Jaworski to Carmichael. First down at the 32-yard line. Jaworski threw a bullet shot. Nelson and Osteen, the tacklers for the Raiders.
John just got through demonstrating what happens when a quarterback does not have time. Let's watch and see what happens when a good pocket is developed for the quarterback. Matuzak, the only man progressing on him, and he's being held away by Sizemore. Jaworski able to deliver that ball on target for a big game.
First down Eagles at their 32. They trail 21-3. Montgomery to the 35-yard line, and some hard hitting. It looked for a moment he was about to lose the football. Rod Martin spearheaded the defensive charge. Reggie Kinlaw with him.
Dick, one of the advantages that the Philadelphia coaching staff felt they had as a team over the Oakland Raiders was team speed, team quickness. that has not proved to be true. The Raiders, especially defensively, have been out in front of those sweeps consistently. And the game outside, the running game outside, which was expected to be a big part of it, has not given them the edge they hoped for. That's the coaching staff upstairs. Sid Gilman on the right of your picture. They're hoping they can get some room in this next series.
Montgomery out. 2 tight ends in. Oh, flag down. Millen interfered with Spagnola. At the 40-yard line, it'll be first down for Philadelphia. They want to pick on Millen. Merlin told you he's outstanding against the run, but because of that 265 pounds, obviously quick as he may be, has some trouble defending against the pass.
Well, let's put it this way. He's not going to run with a receiver that can put those feet down very fast.
Defense pass interference number 55. That's a first down.
First down at the Eagle 40-yard line. Just less than 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The Raiders scoring the first time they had the football to open the second half. 29-yard pass from Plunkett to Branch.
Little look at the interference there. Contact well ahead of the football. An excellent call by the officials.
Jaworski off play action. Plenty of time. Carmichael, first down at the Oakland 42. Solid hit by Owens, but Carmichael clutching the football in a first down. 19 yards on the play.
That's not the kind of quarterback that a weak-armed quarterback, or it's not the kind of pass that a weak-armed quarterback dare throw. Carmichael is in the middle of traffic. He's working against 35 Dwayne Osteen. Cuts open to an open area, but even then the ball had to be thrown between 2 linebackers and a hard-charging 44 Burgess Owens.
First down play. Leroy Harris. And he's out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Good gain on first down, nearly 6 yards. Rod Martin made the tackle. Back to Harold Carmichael for just a moment. Carmichael now has 5 catches. So does Cliff Branch of the Raiders, but 2 of Branch's for touchdowns. Spot the ball closer to the 36. Call it 2nd and 5. Nine minutes, 12 seconds left, third quarter. Oakland 21, Philadelphia 3. Montgomery to the 34. You heard run, run, run. That was one of the defensive players reading the keys and alerting his teammates. Kinlaw made the tackle.
Much of the yardage that the Eagles picked up last week against the Dallas Cowboys was picked up on plays exactly like that, cutting back against the grain, especially out of the I formation. Montgomery cut back that time, but he cut right back into traffic. Fine job by the Oakland defense of flowing with the action and not allowing Montgomery any room to operate.
Raiders are looking pass. And get it. Intercepted by Martin. He was out of bounds when he intercepted the ball. It will count as a turnover. The same man who picked one off to start the game and led Oakland to its first touchdown has another.
When Rod Jaworski came to the Eagles, Dick Vermeil said you must learn to do 2 things. Not throw as many interceptions and throw a higher percentage of completions. Throw the ball more accurately and learn when not to throw the football. This was an occasion that Jaworski should not have thrown the football.
The former commissioner of the old American Football League, general manager partner of the Oakland Raiders, Al Davis. He's sitting on a comfortable 21-3 lead over the Philadelphia Eagles. And Rod Martin has taken the ball away from Jaworski on his 2nd interception of the day at the Raider 32. Van Egan to the 37 with a lead of 21-3. John Brody, do you think the Raiders will change their offensive philosophy?
Dick, what they'll do is go to the personality that they enjoy most. They get a lead, they'll go to Mark Van Egan. You remember he ran out the clock against San Diego when it looked like they'd fought themselves back in the ball game. When they do throw, they'll throw it up the field. They will not fiddle around trying to get it in between linebackers. They're in a perfect position. This situation suits their whole personality.
The injured Philadelphia Eagle player on that last tackle, number 78, Carl Hairston. He went to Maryland State, as did another former great who wore 78 at that school, Roger Brown, who starred with the Lions and later with you with the Rams, Marlon.
Dick Vermeil says of Carl Hairston that there may be defensive ends in football who had better games, but no defensive end in football that had 16 games like Carl Hairston, and it would hurt them greatly to lose him here.
Here's the play again. Hairston always hustling. He's drawn the admiration of his teammates because of that facet of his game. Well, that's an all-out effort.
It didn't appear that his legs were twisted on that play unless he hurt himself on the turf. Bill Berge actually hurt his knee on the turf, and that's one of the dangers of the artificial turf. The grip is so good that you can catch a leg or catch a foot in an awkward position, and if you do, you can injure yourself.
Midway through the third quarter at the Superdome, 21-3, the Oakland Raiders. We talked about the offense change in philosophy. Do you think the Raiders will change, or the Eagles defensively?
Marion Campbell very reluctant to make a kind of a change to go to a more aggressive style of defense. He may have to start to blitz here to try and get pressure on Oakland's offense. The injury to Hairston, if it is serious, could dictate even further changes.
Hairston was able to leave the field under his own power, we're pleased to report. It's second down 6. Plunkett again, good protection. Now scrambles. And Charlie Johnson wraps him up, 4-year veteran from Colorado. Nose guard, made the Pro Bowl, considered the best at his position in the National Conference.
An old veteran, Claude Humphrey. Reading pass, working on Henry Lawrence. He had 3.5 sacks the last time he worked on Lawrence in a game against the Oakland Raiders. Not able to get to Plunkett on that one. But the secondary of the Eagles shut off their receivers.
Governor Jerry Brown of California, no doubt as to the team that he is supporting today. That is recorded as a sack, the first of the day for the Eagles. They had 8 in the 10-7 win at Philadelphia over this Raider club. Wide open is Raymond Chester, and his first call of the day gives a first down to Oakland at the 48 of Philadelphia. 16 yards. Herman Edwards pushed him out of bounds.
Although his name will not appear anywhere on that play, Branch, number 21, the man that cleared out the zone so Chester could float across to the side and find some room.
Raymond Chester, you know, he's always been in the spinning wheel as far as getting to the Super Bowl. When the Raiders were in, he was at Baltimore. When Baltimore was in, he was at Oakland. He said, it's my turn. I want to be on the right team this year. And his catches have been instrumental in getting the Raiders here. Chandler, first down at the 32. Roynell Young made the tackle. Again, protection allowed Chandler to come back and meet the ball.
We talked about dominating the line of scrimmage. We talked about protecting the quarterback. Well, I want to tell you, that offensive line for the Oakland Raiders has done just that. There was nobody even able to claw their way in there. Plunkett could have had his lunch back there. Carl Hairston on the sideline getting his leg worked on. He will be back into the ball game.
Meanwhile, the Raiders with a 21-3 lead. Philadelphia is going to have to throw a net around the offense, or they're in real big trouble. Then Derek Jensen in the game for the Raiders gets a rare call. Gained 30 yards on 14 carries all season long. To the 26-yard line, Jensen, where it'll be 2nd and 5. Tom Flores, the first Hispanic to coach in the National Football League. He's been a Raider most of his life. He's seen Super Bowl experience. In fact, he and Lenny Dawson were teammates in a Cherry Super Bowl victory.
I'm sure he's pleased with the start that Plunkett has in this half. He's 5 for 5 in the second half.
Arthur Whittington, grabbed by Humphrey. Claude Humphrey, the long arm of the law, registers a loss to the Raiders.
And there goes Carl Hairston back into the game. I'm sure that's a welcome sight for the rest of his teammates defensively. Back into the ball game. Looked like he might have just twisted that leg a little bit as it caught on the turf.
Meanwhile, the Oakland Raiders, a team that has been an underdog in every game in the playoffs, an underdog to Houston in the first game. They were an underdog to Cleveland and the ice of Ohio and won, and an underdog at San Diego again last time out 2 weeks ago, and an underdog today. Oh, how they've relished that role. 3rd and 7. Blitz, and Chester unable to hook that one as Randy Logan, the safety, came in on Plunkett. Ron Jaworski will try to tune it up, but there's a lot of silent and solemn faces on the Eagle sidelines. Jaworski pumping and then going to Montgomery. He's open. Just off his fingertips at the 45. Davis and Owens drifting back. A play they've worked on hard all week long.
Within inches. It's a game of inches. And when it goes against you, sometimes those inches are in the opposite direction. Dick, in 18 previous Super Bowl games, only one team has scored more points than the Oakland Raiders have today. That's the Eagles. Scored now 24.
That's on its Super Bowl. I think Merlin, excuse me for, it's 18 games starting from this one going back the last 18 Eagle games. Only the Cowboys have scored as many as 24. It's an interesting point, and so Philadelphia definitely with its heels in the hole. Second and 10, Jaworski. Oh, almost caught for a safety. Wide open is Smith. He's got it. First down at the 45 of Oakland. Charlie Smith with that big mask to protect his broken jaw, and Jaworski just did elude Mike Davis, who had designs on a safety.
Clock at the bottom indicating the amount of time Jaworski has. It's a blitz, an all-out blitz. Mike Davis coming from the safety position, jumps and has Jaworski right on the line. But Jaworski plays it cool, takes all the time he has, and rifles a perfect shot. Had he been able to get that one a little bit further, if Charlie Smith had caught that in full stride, he may have gone all the way.
Well, let's see if that's the play that gets the Eagles rolling. Harry Harrington, a rookie. His first carry. Ambitious at that, to the 41-yard line before Browning could ride him down. Harrington from Jackson State, second-round pick of the Eagles.
The first down success of these two teams, very different one from the other. We talked to you earlier about the low average for the Eagles. The Raiders, on the other hand, 6.2. They've averaged that on first down. That means that they have all the options on those second down situations. Been a very frustrating day for the Eagles. They certainly need to get something out of this drive, get down and get 7 points on the board.
Harrington out and Wilbert Montgomery back in with Harris lined up at fullback. Montgomery to the 37-yard line. Matt Millen and Bob Nelson with the tackle. It'll be short of the first down by a long 2 yards.
Very big third down situation here. One that the Eagles desperately need to convert on.
Trailing 24-3, Philadelphia late in the third quarter. Montgomery, second effort, first down. He was able to drive inside the 35 before Bob Nelson made the tackle.
Talk about a good back, making yardage after he's hit. Look at where Montgomery takes the first hit, right there, about 2 yards ahead of where that first down needed to be made. He simply surged for it. And now straight down from the top. Again, watch how far he's hit in the backfield, right there. Simply gathers himself, surges over the line of scrimmage for the first down.
First down at the 34. Carmichael slotted right. Smith wide right. Far side is Parker. No, that's Montgomery to the left side. Inside goes Harris before Bob Nelson makes another tackle after short yardage. Some of the Eagle fans didn't like that call with less than 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
I believe that's about 5 running plays in a row, and Jaworski taking the signals from the sideline. Calls being sent in from Dick Vermeil with assistance from Sid Gilman upstairs.
See Pisarcik, number 9, the backup quarterback. Lynn Stiles, the coach. One of them, of course, dummy signals. The other, the ones that really count.
Dick Corey also up there on the headset with Dick Vermeil.
Down the middle of Carmichael. But Jaworski had to unload because number 74, Dave Pear, was all over him.
Some stunning going on in the middle of the line. I believe that ball also deflected. I think if it had been thrown on target, would not have been bounced away that way. Look at the surge on the line of scrimmage. Jaworski again. Pressure coming on him right there. Takes the pop by Dave Pear.
So it's 3rd down and 7. A minute 15 seconds left, third quarter. The Eagles need to score. They trail by 3 touchdowns. Triple right formation. Here comes Hendricks. Carmichael drops the ball. And the Eagles now don't need a field goal. They have to go for it.
Carmichael able to get himself open, able to break across the center, and then muffed what was an easy catch for him.
The pressure telling on the Eagles today. Raiders have played an almost flawless game, while the Eagles have been involved in turnover, penalty mistakes, and drop balls. They go for it. Complete. Rodney Parker, and a first down at the 12-yard line. Boy, what a story that Parker is. He was cut by the Eagles. He came back to New Orleans, was working in the police department in the juvenile division. When Wally Henry was hurt at midseason, they went back, got Parker, and he's helped them to this Super Bowl.
They say he's amazingly cool, and he's done the kind of job for them that they needed to have done. He'll find a place to play in the NFL. Again, using the unique camera angle from the top of the stadium. Look at how he found the room between those 2 defenders. I think he figured maybe he'd get up and run, fool the officials a bit.
There's Sid Gilman, 69 years of age, on the right. Dick Corey on the left. Gilman's last game, he says. Louis Jamona. And he's to the 6-yard line. A gain of 6 for Jamona, who is from Utah State. He's the son of Dick Vermeil's oldest sister. Of course, gets a lot of kidding for being a relative of the head coach. They call him Woodstock. He's the smallest of the birds on this Eagle team. And that is the end of the third quarter. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen, Len Dawson, John Brody, all our NFL 80 crew. Chuck Bednarik, Mr. Eagle, they call him. One of the many bright things that Vermeil has done in his 5 years at Philadelphia. Bring back Bednarik. He's an assistant coach. And what a figure. Remember 1960 when he tackled Jim Taylor, final play of the NFL championship, and held him down till that final second ticked off. Played both ways, offensive center and linebacker. We open the fourth quarter. 2nd down and a short 4. Montgomery. No gain. Mike Davis with an excellent play after it appeared that Browning was a man who forced Montgomery wide.
Had not Montgomery had such powerful legs, that would have been about a 4-yard loss. He pulled out of a certain tackle, able to get back to the line of scrimmage, slightly beyond it.
They have not been able to run the football, Merlin, and that, of course, is one of the keys as you set up this game.
Well, we must give the credit for that to a very aggressive Oakland defense.
It's interesting as we're in the fourth quarter now that only one team has been held without a touchdown in Super Bowl play. That was Miami. Montgomery again. He's going to be short. That's the 3-yard line. Burgess Owens and Matt Millen made the tackle, and that's an interesting combination. Owens let go by the New York Jets. He was their player rep, and they dealt him off for a late round draft pick. And Millen, a defensive lineman who was drafted, a rookie, and has started every game. Offside, however, against the Raiders, and that'll be a big penalty break for Philadelphia.
Well, that'll give them a down and march half the distance to the goal. It will still be slightly short of a first down, but it will again be 3rd down and short yardage.
And stops the clock, and we're going to watch that carefully. 14 minutes and 3 seconds left. The Eagles need the ball and need to score just about every time.
Defense number 37 was lined up in the neutral zone. 37.
You talk about playing your man tight. Lester Hayes was the man offside.
So Lester's inside. He's on the other side of the line to bump and run him.
Look at that stick him. He's got it everywhere. Helmet, the back of his pants, his ankles.
Quarterbacks love him. They get that ball back. It sticks to their hand.
Back up and down.
3rd and less than a yard at the 2.5. Montgomery shifting. Oops, movement in the line. And we'll see against whom this penalty is called.
Guy Morris, number 50, the center, and you see the reaction of Dick Vermeil. After all the training and all the hours they spent together, that's a critical mistake.
It's a story everyone knows now, but for some of you who have not followed football that closely all year long, Dick Vermeil and the head coach of the Raiders, Tom Flores, were opposing quarterbacks in the late 50s when Vermeil played at San Jose State, and Flores was the head man at Pacific. And here's that penalty again.
Oh.
Watch the center, number 50. It's the now that's pretty hard to go off sides as a center, but he saw the man moving forward in the line, tried to get the jump on it. Jaworski, I think, sensed the potential offsides and withheld the count.
Millen caused that penalty by his movement toward Morris. So now we're back at 3rd down and call it 5.5. Ball at the 7-yard line. Well, that changes the whole play call. Instead of run, now Jaworski might be thinking pass. Crefley from Iowa State has the Eagles' first touchdown.
Eagle fans finally get something to celebrate, and Vermeil chanting, "Let's go, let's go." It looked like Crefley misread that Eagles marking. He thought he was very close to the end zone. Look at the way he tries to get his feet down quickly. Did not realize he had about another 4 feet behind him.
It took the Eagles 12 plays and capped by that 7-yard throw to Crefley. 5.5 minutes for the Eagles to score. They have to be a bit quicker than that. 24-9 as the Raiders call timeout. And we'll mark that in our memory bank to see if that becomes a factor later this game. Tom Flores quizzical about the reason for that timeout. Maybe too many men on the field.
Another look at the rifle shot of the Polish rifle, Jaworski. You see Crefley tight-roping. He did think he was close to that end line. He actually had quite a bit of room.
What did that remind you of, that play, for a moment? I thought about Jackie Smith. How sorry everyone had to feel for him in the Super Bowl 13. Dick Vermeil.
An interesting emotional contrast between Dick Vermeil and a very placid Tom Flores on the other side of the line. But what an important touchdown. An opportunity now at least to get back into this game. They now need some very emotional and inspired play from that Eagle defense.
Now the try for point. Shara to hold for Tony Franklin. Dick Vermeil now has to be in the position of hoping for some help from away. The Eagle bubble is about to burst unless they can stop the Raiders here. 8:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Plunkett looking for 6. Chandler broken up beautifully by Herman Edwards. So Chris Barr comes in for a very important field goal try. If he's successful, the Eagles must score 3 times to win.
Chandler working Herman Edwards as he did earlier. Watch him give a little move to the outside, turns Edwards, but the veteran comes back inside and at full extension bats the ball out of the waiting hands of Chandler.
Pretty play. Edwards from San Diego State started at California where Isaac Curtis, he was transferred away. Dwayne Osteen, the cornerback of the Raiders, a close personal friend. Very important try from 35 yards away by Barr. He's 1 for 2 today. Right down the middle and good. Here's that attempted block again by Humphrey. How close he came.
Humphrey in clean, but Barr gets the ball up quickly. It looks like it goes right between the outstretched arms of Claude Humphrey, and that's the way the Eagle game has gone all day.
27-10 Oakland as Barr kicks it off with only 8.5 minutes left. Hits it well. Billy Campfield. 10. 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Tackle made by number 77 Joe Campbell, acquired from the New Orleans Saints at midseason for a number 7 draft choice. Lenny and John, a lot was said during the week in all of the words written about these two teams, about Vermeil's hard charge, the 3-hour workouts, that sort of thing, the intensity, while the Raiders seem so relaxed. What are your feelings now in the fourth quarter?
Well, Dick, I'll tell you, I've been to the Super Bowl twice. The first time we were not able to handle all of the publicity, and when adversity hit, we weren't able to come back. And I think that can happen to a lot of teams. Pittsburgh, after all, is only the team to come here for the first time and win it. And although Philadelphia worked very hard, until you walk through that gate into the field, when you see 75,000 people screaming and yelling here, you know the magnitude of this game. As you said before during this contest, it is a happening. And when adversity does hit, a lot of bad things can happen to a football team. And I think that is what is happening to Philadelphia. Even though they said, yes, we have things under control and we know what to expect down there, until you get there, or here being the case at the Superdome in New Orleans, you really don't know what to expect.
I asked Gene Upshaw yesterday after the workout. I said, Gene, you played in the 2 previous Super Bowls. What can you give the other younger members of your team? He said, the biggest thing is to remind them, just because we won the AFC, that's not enough. Let's not celebrate that. The season isn't over until today. You don't want to celebrate too hard that next to last win. Montgomery, shirt tailed down by Ted Hendricks.
Just an extra comment to add to what you said, Lenny. Sometimes expectations are very important too. And I think the goal that the Eagles set for themselves was to get to the Super Bowl. I think the Oakland Raiders were thinking about getting here and winning the game.
Hendricks, he too with Super Bowl experience with the Raiders and the Colts. Dick Vermeil, time running out, and some of the Eagle fans are nervous. They want Philadelphia to get the ball in the air.
Here it goes.
Complete at the 40. That'll be a first down. Lester Hayes made the tackle on Charlie Smith. 17-yard play.
One of the problems the Eagles have is that they were constructed as a ball control team. They do not have the explosive system that would allow them to move the ball as quickly as some other teams in the NFL.
That's Dave Browning, the defensive end of the Raiders.
Must have jammed his neck. They're trying to get him a little relief there. Dr. Rosenfeld in front of him, the Raider doctor.
Jaworski approaching a Super Bowl record with 32 passes. The mark is Tarkenton's 35. Complete to Montgomery at the Oakland 41. And the Eagles are hustling into the huddle. 19 yards on that first down. Clock running, 6:45, 6:44 left.
Jaworski angry at not having the signals more quickly. One of the weaknesses of not having a quarterback call his own signals, you have to wait for them to come in.
Good point. You can see the frustration on the face of Jaworski. 6:23 as they break huddle. Oakland 27, Philadelphia 10, fourth quarter. Leroy Harris, a strange call. Rod Martin makes the tackle. Hard to believe they're running with a 17-point deficit.
One thing for certain, the Oakland Raiders lined up expecting the pass. You see the signals being made from the sideline. Vermeil trying to get Wilbert Montgomery quickly to the sideline.
Of course, the fact is, Merlin, that if you misfire on a pass, at least, unless it's intercepted, it stops the clock. You misfire on a run, and you've wasted another half minute.
Well, obviously, the clock is their worst enemy now. They need quick scores, not just touchdowns, but quick touchdowns.
2nd and 11. Fumble, and that's going to about do it. The Raiders have recovered. Willie Jones has the football. And now the Raiders start to celebrate. The fans know that this one's going to belong to them with 5.5 left. Another mistake by Philadelphia.
And I can't help but reflect on that picture of frustration that we saw moments ago. Jaworski looking to the sideline, angry at not getting the signal. Vermeil angry at not being able to get the help he needs. And then a crucial mistake.
1:20 left. Jensen to the 20-yard line. Derek Jensen from the University of Texas Arlington. Well, for Philadelphia, the Phillies won the World Series. 76ers lost in the finals of the NBA to the Lakers. The Flyers lost in the Stanley Cup Finals to the New York Islanders. And the Eagles will lose today in the Super Bowl. But what a year for the city of brotherly love. And, of course, that'll be the site of the NCAA basketball championships. And you'll see that here on NBC in March. That's how much money the Raiders will win. Actually, more than the Eagles had they won because they got $3,000 for that first wild card game. $35,000, a nice little bonus for the Raiders. 40 seconds left. Jensen with a first down. And I don't believe the Raiders will have to run another play. We want to thank Dennis Manisha and Bruce Jolish, our player identification personnel, Steve Dans, Jimmy Burns, statistician Joe Costanza, NBC's director Ted Nathanson, our executive producer Don Olmeyer, producers Larry Cirillo, George Finkel, all the engineers and cameramen. 15 cameras here. The final seconds tick away. Jim Plunkett leads the Oakland Raiders to Super Bowl 15 victory, and Plunkett is announced as the most valuable player. The final score, Oakland 27, Philadelphia 10.